Mr. Rokita.
I thank the chairman. I thank the witnesses for coming today. It's been very educational. I appreciate it. One of the programs that I have started in my office is called Red Tape Rollback, and it's my commitment to focus on what I see as the second constitutional duty of Congress, equally important to passing laws, and that is to oversight the executive branch, and particularly in terms of regulations. So this Red Tape Rollback program allows me to account to my voters and taxpayers for what we're doing in that regard. And one company in particular comes to mind during this discussion. It's called Buzzi-Unicum, USA. It's in Greencastle, Indiana. And they are a cement plant. And they burn probably 100,000 tons of coal per year. And in doing so, create something called fly ash. Now, fly ash is valuable. They reuse it. Yet the EPA has recently started hearings to regulate fly ash. You know, this, if the regulation is carried out, this would cause this company to have to ship this fly ash out, which is inherently more or less safe than if they burned it and reused it safely within the plant. So this is expensive. It's cost jobs. It makes electricity more expensive. So to Mr. Durbin and Mr. Larson, I would ask, and I know at least one of you is an expert in natural gas, but what other regulations are out there that come to mind that are hurting jobs and costing more for making us cost more for energy? Mr. Durbin.
Well, Mr. Rokita, not to cite specific regulations.
No, I'd like you to.
Well, but I will have to play a little bit of the new person card, having just started at NANGA in the last 2 months. But again, our members are directly involved in the production, in the exploration and production, both on public lands and private lands. So clearly they have been very focused on BLM rules with regard to the hydraulic fracturing that are still yet are about to be being proposed. And as we've talked about earlier, just some of the permitting opportunities for us to streamline that permitting process. So I mean that's where I put.
Okay, and then your testimony does talk about that, but would you mind getting more specific with me as you get more comfortable with your job and reply in writing so I can work on some of these? Thank you. Mr. Larson, do you have anything to add?
No, I think as our study looked at, we basically looked at sort of the processes as they currently have unfolded, and we feel that with the current regulatory system that's in place, the opportunities that we see now are being managed responsibly and can unfold in that path. So I could not point to any specific regulations at this time that I feel would need to change.
Mr. Larson, sticking with you, as you may know, the recent city report estimated that increased energy production and the associated benefits will increase real GDP from 2 to 3.3% by 2020, above what would have otherwise been the case over the same period. Familiar?
Yes.
Do you have any estimates on how increased production will affect GDP?
Yes, our estimates are in a similar range, so we're seeing a similar impact to GDP. You're going to see, the interesting thing will be really looking at how the trade will inflow and how much that will impact GDP. Obviously, GDP, net trade, and imports are a key component of that GDP number. So as we looked at it, we sort of looked at a very similar number by 2020, and a lot of that will be driven by both the domestic manufacturing resurgence and our trade positions that we'll enjoy.
Okay, I appreciate it. I yield back.